What's up everybody, and welcome to today's Tableau walkthrough. In this video we're going to work on using logical functions. Logical functions or logical calculations allow you to determine if a certain condition is true or false, similar to Boolean logic. For example, you might want to categorize values based on certain cutoffs. And in this particular demonstration, we're going to focus on the logical functions of the if statement, the IIF statement, and the case statement. The first thing we need to do before getting into the creation of logical functions is open our Tableau application. I've already opened mine, and then connect your data sources. To do this, you need to navigate to the left panel. Under Connect, you will see Save Data Sources, and the data source we're going to use today is the sample superstore dataset. So I'm going to click this, and then you would have a screen that looks similar to this. This is going to be your worksheet. This is going to be your data visualization playground. So before creating any logical functions or calculated fields, you need to create a simple data visualization so that you can see and visualize these logical functions. For the sake of the argument, I am going to create a simple table, and that table is going to show the states and provinces in North America. And in each if statement or logical function, I am going to determine or evaluate if a state or province has good weather or bad weather. And being a resident of California, I feel like there's always great weather in California, maybe the Bay Area more specifically, but using that biased opinion, I'm going to say every place in California has good weather or great weather, and then every other place has bad weather. So to first do that, let's create a table. And to do that, I just need to go down to location under my data pane, click the drop down arrow, and drag the state or province into the row shelf. Once I have the state or province into the row shelf, I can start by creating my calculated fields where I use my different logical functions. To create my calculated field, there are two options. The option that I like to use is click that drop down arrow right under our data pane. I click that, click create calculated field, and now you should see a pop-up window that looks similar to this. I'm going to name my calculated field. We're going to first start with the if function. So I'm going to name this if. Then you can see to the right that you will have information on all functions. And if you hit that arrow, it will disappear, but if you want to see it, you can hit that arrow again and it will reappear. So if we want to do the if statement, we want to say if the state or province. So this is actually let me do if and then click the if. So then the expression and details behind the expression actually shows up. So if my expression, then a result, else a different result. So I'm going to do say state or province equals California, then I'm going to say it has good weather, and just for organization purposes, I'm going to go to a new line, and then else I'm going to say bad weather. So this is just our first if statement. Very simple. It says I have an error. Let's see what that error is. Oh yes. You have to end the if statement with the word end. And now my calculation is valid. We can say okay. And now we have a if statement. Next thing we want to do is we can either duplicate this calculated field, but let's create actually a new one. Let's go create a calculated field. Now we're going to do the IIF, which is a simpler version of if, and since we only have two outcomes, this makes it pretty easy to use. So if you have just only two outcomes or two different outcomes, I would recommend using the IIF versus the if statement. It's a little bit shorter syntax. So if you start to type IIF, click IIF, and then now we have the function we need to create. So let's actually create it. So we're going to do the same thing. State or province equals California. State or province equals California. Then we're going to say it is good weather. Else it's bad weather. So this is just a little bit simpler syntax. Of course, it says our calculation is valid. I named it IIF just so we don't have any duplicate variables. Now, if your calculation says it is valid, press OK. And now you have created another variable and field under your data pane. The last one we're going to do is a case when. So if I hit the drop down, hit create calculated field, I'm just going to name this case for case functions. And I'm going to start by typing the word case, and then the first thing that pops up is case. And then we see here is just how you actually find the particular value and what it actually means to create a case function in Tableau or just any programming language in general. And here's an example at the bottom. So to do that, that gives us the same result as the if and the IIF that we did previously. We do case, state, province, when the value, so this is a little bit different syntax. We say California. Then we want to return a value, which is we're going to return good weather. Else, we're going to return bad weather. Then to complete a case statement, we need to make sure it says end, and I forgot my close quotation mark there, but now my calculation should be valid, and we can press OK to complete our case statement. So now we've created 3 different calculated fields using logical functions that output the same result. Let's say we want to visualize these results. The first thing I'm going to do, just to get rid of the default variables in the table, is to add the if statement to the March card. So I drag that into the text field, and now we have the if statement, and we can see that good weather for California, bad weather for every other state or province. Let's say we want to compare the results to make sure that everything is outputted correct. Now I'm going to add all the other variables to the shelf, starting with the if statement. So we're adding the if to the row shelf, and then we're going to add the IIF to the row shelf, and then we're going to add the case to the row shelf at the end. And as you can see, if you look through the results, all these results outputted these same values, which is exactly what we wanted. We have 3 different approaches to get the same different answer. However, it just depends on which one you actually want to use, which one's going to be more efficient for your data visualization needs. So this is how you create logical functions in Tableau. Let's name it logical. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.